6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj, assisted by Sanjaya, and read by Mario Vijayawardena. The headlines. The former director of the Media Education Unit of the Aquinas Higher Education Institute, Reverend Benedict Joseph, requests all the Christians and Catholics to focus on following the health guidelines while celebrating Christmas. A final decision on the minimum daily wage of 1,000 rupees for estate workers will be reached within a week. Sri Lanka reports 218 more COVID-19 cases. The total count of COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka reached 37,625 as more persons tested positive for the virus. The date set for the reopening of schools next year. The government will not approve the request of conducting PCR tests on passengers arriving into the island if they have already agreed to conduct PCR tests individually. In COVID news, Wuhan scientists would welcome visit probing lab leak theory. The former director of the Media Education Unit of the Aquinas Higher Education Institute, Reverend Benedict Joseph, requests all the Christians and Catholics to focus on following the health guidelines while celebrating Christmas. He further requested the Catholic population in the country to extend their fullest support to the government in eradicating the COVID-19 pandemic. Reverend Benedict Joseph made this request at a media conference held in Colombo yesterday. A discussion was held yesterday between estate employers' trade unions and the Minister of Labour, Nimal Siripal de Silva, regarding increasing the minimum daily wage of an estate worker to 1,000 rupees. The necessary funds have been allocated in the 2021 budget proposals. Matters relating to the 1,000 rupee wage and other relevant subjects have been discussed during this discussion. The employers who participated in this discussion have raised their concerns about this increase in the daily wage of a plantation worker to 1,000 rupees. They also request the estate workers to pluck 2 kilos of additional tea leaves on a daily basis so that they can afford to meet the demand of 1,000 rupees. A final decision on the minimum daily wage of 1,000 rupees for the estate workers will be reached within a week. The State Minister of Estate Housing and Community Infrastructure, Jeevan Thondaman, and the General Secretary of the Estate Workers Union, Vadivel Suresh, were also present at the occasion. The total count of the COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka reached 37,625 as more persons tested positive for the virus. The Department of Government Information said 218 fresh cases have been detected yesterday. All of the new cases are close contacts of the Paligoda Fish Market Cluster, reports confirmed. With the new development, the Minuwangoda Paligoda Cluster has registered a total of 33,954 cases to date. According to the Health Ministry's data, 28,682 of the confirmed patients have made complete recoveries from the virus. 176 deaths have been reported so far due to the coronavirus infection. The Ministry of Education says a date has been set for the commencement of the first term in schools for the year 2021. Accordingly, the schools for grades 1 to 5 will reopen on January 11, 2021, the Minister of Education, Professor G.L. Piri, stated. Preschools too will be open for the year 2021 on the same date. However, this will not apply to schools in the Western Province and in the isolated areas. The Minister added that the situation will be reviewed every 10 days and an effort will be taken to reopen all the schools as soon as possible. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
Specialist Dr. Hemantha Herath reiterated that the government will not approve the request of conducting PCR tests on passengers arriving into the island if they have already agreed to conduct PCR tests individually. However, there are a few issues which have cropped up due to this new arrangement. Dr. Hemantha Herath requested the migrant Sri Lankans arriving into the island to help the government to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 disease by following the best practices of the government. He made these remarks while addressing a media conference in Colombo yesterday. Muslim clergy Maulavi Anwar Akabdeen requests all Islam devotees and intellectuals to help the government in preventing the COVID-19 spread in the country. The Maulavi made this request while addressing a media conference yesterday at the Health Promotion Bureau in Colombo. Addressing the media personnel, the Maulavi further requested the Muslim community to face the PCR tests without fear. The Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, which conducts a special Ratana Sutra chanting program island-wide, will organise a chanting program today at the Papiliana Sunetra Devi Rajamaha Viharya. This will be the 60th chanting program in the series. The chanting will be aired live from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. through the City FM, the commercial service and all regional services of the SLBC. In a rare celestial event, Jupiter and Saturn, two of the solar system's largest planets, were seen closest to each other yesterday, the first time in 397 years. The union of Jupiter and Saturn is being termed as a great conjunction, as the planets will be just 0.1 degrees apart, or about 1/5 the apparent width of the moon. Such an event will not happen again in the next 60 years, that is until 2080. In a rare celestial event, Jupiter and Saturn, two of the solar system's largest planets, will be closest to each other on Monday, the 21st of December, the first time in nearly 400 years. The union of Jupiter and Saturn is being termed as a great conjunction. That's local news.
Darling, our daughter has top O-level results. Do you know what this means?
Yes, just 3 years and she'll be going abroad for her degree.
For which we'll need a bank loan.
But is a normal loan the smartest option?
What else?
The smartest way is to start an HDFC Smart Goals account.
Let your child begin their degree with no delays. Start an HDFC Smart Goals account. Call 2356 888.
Honey, you're so smart.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidamahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Minister Bandula Gunawardena thanked the President for not signing the MCC agreement with the United States. At a press briefing held in Colombo yesterday, the minister said the former Yahapalana regime had prepared this agreement without the consent of the then President Maithripala Sirisena. He further said that the present government will not betray the sovereignty of the country under any circumstances.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight, residents and motorists seriously complain about the sudden excavation work at the Pamankudu Road joining the WA Silva Mavatha. This has caused immense difficulties to the motorists and residents to travel on this road. Further, this creates unnecessary traffic congestions during peak hours. The residents also do not know for what reason this excavation work is taking place. This is for the attention of the traffic police and the RDA. When inquired, the relevant official said that they will immediately probe about the arbitrary excavation practices in the city. That came to you in Watchlight. And now in world news headlines. In the COVID-19 pandemic, international alarm grows over new variant. Essex lorry deaths 2 found guilty of killing 39 migrants. COVID Wuhan scientist would welcome visit, probing lab leak theory. There is growing international alarm over a new variant of the coronavirus in the UK, with a host of countries imposing travel bans. More than 40 countries have barred UK arrivals as the EU held talks on forming a common policy. Sweden banned foreign travellers from Denmark after cases of the variant were discovered there too. 2 men have been found guilty of the manslaughter of 39 Vietnamese migrants found dead in a lorry trailer in Essex. The migrants suffocated in the sealed container en route from Zeebrugge to Poufle in October 2019. Airman Harrison, 24, who dropped off the trailer at the Belgian port, and people smuggler Nika, 43, were convicted by an Old Bailey jury. 2 others were convicted of being part of a wider people smuggling conspiracy. A Chinese scientist at the center of unsubstantiated claims that the coronavirus leaked from her laboratory in the Chinese city of Wuhan has told the BBC she is open to any kind of visit to rule it out. The surprise statement from Professor Shi Zhangli comes as a World Health Organization team prepares to travel to Wuhan next month to begin its investigation into the origins of COVID-19. The remote district of Tongguan in China's southwestern province of Yunnan is hard to reach at the best of times. But when a BBC team tried to visit recently, it was impossible. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. COVID-19 pandemic news. International alarm grows over new variant. Essex lorry deaths, 2 found guilty of killing 39 migrants. COVID Wuhan scientist would welcome visit probing lab leak theory. That was world news, and now in development news. State Minister Piyal Nishanta says 14 roads in the Beruwela electorate are being renovated. A sum of 146 million rupees has been allocated for this purpose. This project will facilitate the local residents and farmers to easily transport their produce to the other parts of the country. Meanwhile, the government focuses its attention on manufacturing urea fertilizer. It is reported that the country spends around 260 million rupees for the import of urea fertilizer annually. In 2019, the government spent around 260 million rupees to import this fertilizer. Therefore, it is understood that the country has to change its manufacturing plan to safeguard the funds used for import purposes. The main objective of this project is to limit the import and thereby save a lot of money for the benefit of local masses. That was development news, and now in sports news. In cricket, Quinton de Kock has confirmed he will not be South Africa's long-term test captain, but is willing to tide his team over until a permanent candidate emerges. De Kock, who already leads a team in white ball formats, was asked to do the same for this season's tests, even after the director of cricket, Graham Smith, said South Africa did not want to overburden their star player, who also keeps wicket and is among the team's senior-most batsmen. De Kock admitted that accepting the position was not automatic for him, and he only did so on the provision that the selectors are on the lookout for someone else. That was sports news, and now in business news. Winding up the year on a healthy note despite the economic downturn due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the banking giant in Sri Lanka has recorded the highest asset base of 2.9 trillion rupees, the highest deposit base of 2.3 trillion rupees, and has maintained its market leadership in trade finance, treasury operations, including its more than 40% market share of inward remittances, and most of the spheres in the banking and finance arena. The bank states that all its customers can confidently rely on the strength and the stability of the bank for all their banking needs. The recent downgrade of the sovereign and banking institutions in Sri Lanka had a minimal impact on the soundness of the bank, and its international operations continue uninterrupted.
Economic news, courtesy of
Just move on real time, save more, LOLC real time. Paying the premium for transactions, simply save now real time. Day night, no trouble for your transactions. LOLC real time. Download LOLC Finance real time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with a zero cost and more benefits.
Under the patronage of the Eastern Province Tourist Bureau Chairman T. Hari Prasad, discussions were held on ways and means of improving tourism in the Eastern Province, challenges faced and solutions to solve them. The discussion was held at the Batikalo Sathurukondan Training Centre recently. As tourism is a major foreign exchange earner to Sri Lanka, ideas and suggestions to attract tourists to the Eastern Province and to renovate the various tourist centres in the Eastern Province were examined.
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And now for the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the northern, eastern, north-central, central, Uva and northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota district. Showers or thundershowers will occur elsewhere after 1 p.m. Heavy falls above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the eastern and Uva provinces and the Mulethivu, Kilinochchi, Polonnaruwa, Mathale and Nuwara Elia districts. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected in the eastern slopes of the central hills and in the Hambantota district. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This weather report was issued this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The former director of the Media Education Unit of the Aquinas Higher Education Institute, Reverend Benedict Joseph, requests all the Christians and Catholics to focus on following the health guidelines while celebrating Christmas. A final decision on the minimum daily wage of 1,000 rupees for estate workers will be reached within a week. Sri Lanka reports 218 more COVID-19 cases. The total count of COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka reached 37,625 as more persons tested positive for the virus. The date set for the reopening of schools next year. The government will not approve the request of conducting PCR tests on passengers arriving into the island if they have already agreed to conduct PCR tests individually. In COVID news, Wuhan scientist would welcome visiting probe lab leak theory. That concludes this news broadcast, and now it's back to your host as always, and my good friend and yours, Soundhi Savan, on the other side to keep you in great company. Over to you, Soundhi, in royal purple today, this Tuesday morning.